Good evening and welcome to the Hamden Online Show. Once again, it is the Footy Show, of course. All thanks to McDonald's here in Warrnambool. We must give a big shout out to the crew there. Fresher fruit juices. Brian Stevens and the team, always wonderful sponsors of and supporters of the Hamden Football Netball League. Of course, Powercore Warrnambool. We love the team at Powercore. Sungold FM flavoured milk, Billy Slater and the crew. And we mustn't forget the guys at Lindock Living. That's right, Sue Cassidy, Doreen Power and the team. We are coming out for a pie night. Don't worry, chicks know, and you better have a big crowd ready to go because there is going to be plenty of pies on offer, that is for sure. As I say, very good evening to the great man Trent Hill. Hilly, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, going well, Matty, and good evening to our viewers for another Wednesday night. Great to have your company and another great round of Hampden League football, and good to see better weather this time around.
Oh, you're not wrong, Hilly. Average weather, of course, for the very first round, round number one. But last weekend played in pretty good conditions. And let's have a look at the highlights too, Hilly. A really interesting round of football, I thought, last weekend. It was high quality, and South Warrnambool and North Warrnambool, a fair bit of interest in this contest.
Yeah, absolutely. And we knew that South Warrnambool North was going to be a sort of a close-ish game. Big Tyrone Vickery making his debut for the North Warrnambool Eagles, and what a recruit that is for them. And as we see, Paddy Anderson, he's started the season pretty well as a forward, kicked 4 goals over the game as well, and was rated one of their best players. So a great win to the Roosters against North, who are a really hard side to play down at Bushfield.
Yeah, absolutely they are, and it's not an easy game to get the 4 points out there. Ricky Henderson, of course, made his debut for the Roosters. They tell me he was absolutely sensational for South Warrnambool. Saunders has been in great nick to start the season. I think once he gets a bit more match fitness underneath his belt, there's big Tyrone Vickery kicking 1 of 4 goals, the big fella, ex-Richmond. Ex-Hawthorn footballer, and he's a big man, big Tyrone, make no mistake about it. Still sporting the man bun, but isn't it good to see him in the Eagles' colours, Hilly?
Yeah, fantastic. And I tell you what, we've taken a really good opponent to try and restrict big Tyrone as well, because he's big in height and still, he's still relatively young too. So he'd have that athleticism running around, and what a great focal point for the North Warrnambool Eagles.
And this young South Warrnambool outfit, I spoke to Adam Dowie today, and he said they are the real deal, the Roosters. Very impressive. He liked what he saw. They've got a great engine room, and he said Ricky Henderson just takes them to a new level. And there's that kid Bex, who we speak about often. He's a big boy, and when he jumps and flies for the football, he's very, very hard to stop, Hilly.
Yeah, and he's obviously going to be that focal point for him down forward this year. He spent a bit of time against Koroyd in the first round, or that earlier game, Good Friday game, on the ball, but I think his best position's down forward. They've brought in Bridgewater, and what a big fly there from Tyrone.
Big Tyrone.
But yeah, I think Bex's best football's down forward. Better than North Warrnambool Eagles. I don't think Parrish played, nor did Dion Johnson, so a couple of really important players for them. But I reckon Adam Dowie would have taken a fair bit of learnings out of this game.
Yeah, my oath, mate. And there's little Paddy Anderson slotting another on the left boot. Such an important player is little Paddy. Just gives him that little bit of X factor down the forward line. Another scoring option. Bex takes another strong mark. Looks like that time in front of Tommy Batten. And, it was about a 4 or 5 goal margin in the end, Hilly. And the Roosters ran out winners. And that's a good victory. And I reckon they are just gearing themselves up to get a few more players back over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's sort of scary, isn't it, to understand that they've still got a few to come back into that best 22. So they've got a really strong midfield group and so many rotations. So I think the North Ballarat Rebels or the Greater Western Victorian Rebel players are more available over the next few weeks as well. So that's going to pose a few more selection, headaches for Matty Battistello and the coaching staff up at Roosterland.
Not a bad position to be in, that is for sure. There's plenty of talent. Let's have a look at the next game. It was Camperdown taking on Cobden under lights. The very first time that we've played a game under lights in the Lura Oval. Looked magnificent. We saw the pictures going around on social media, Hilly. It has come up an absolute treat, the Lura Oval.
I'll tell you what, a lot of hard work's gone in there by the Camperdown Football Netball Club, and they'd be absolutely pleased, Matty, with just the result of the night lights going in. And looking at drone footage and pictures throughout the course of the night, it looks sensational. And they had a big crowd there. The two arch rivals, Camperdown taking on Cobden. What a great way to initiate the lights, I guess.
Yeah, my oath. There's been plenty of work done. Of course, down there at the Camperdown Recreation Reserve by a lot of people. They put in the 5-star stock feeds function centre about 5 or 6 years ago, and really reaping the benefits, that is for sure. It looks like a nice, healthy crowd too, Hilly.
Yeah, big crowd there, and lots of cars, and I reckon, obviously two clubs are very well supported. Camperdown started the season really well. They've won their first 2 games. Cobden, on the other hand, whilst they haven't had a win so far, geez, they've been close. They really pushed North Warrnambool. Yep. They were right in it till 3/4 time against Camperdown, and Camperdown just were a little bit stronger in that last quarter. Tell you what, the Magpies have picked up a nice player in Sam Gordon returning home. Kicked 7 in his day back with the Magpies, and I think he's going to be a pretty important player for them this season.
Yeah, what a great recruit to have back, and even the inclusion of Cam Spence, I just reckon rate him as one of the prime movers in the Hamden Football Netball League, Spencey, and he was a great player before he left. I reckon being away for a couple of seasons and coming back, I reckon he's going to be even better, Hilly.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a really good playmaker, smart user with a football, and I think they'd be pretty happy to have him back as another goal there by the Magpies. I'll tell you what, the Cobden Bombers, though, they're still relatively young, and we spoke to Irish Courtney on Hampton League Live on Saturday, and he said that they've got a lot of players now that have got that 60 to 70 games, and they'll be looking to them to really push themselves and be those senior contributors this season.
Yeah, let's have a look at the next of our highlight games. It is Koroit taking on Terang Mortlake, and well, the Saints could not have been any more impressive here in this one. Hilly, this was a demolition job. Poor old Terang Mortlake. They just come up against the quality side, haven't they?
I'll tell you what, and they had a few out too, the Saints, but geez, they've just got so much depth, don't they? And we don't really have to question what depth's coming in, because we know that whoever comes into that Koroit side will play the Koroit way, and they adjusted beautifully. And Sam Dobson on screen there, nice mark. He kicked 8 goals. He's kicked 17 for the season. And we don't see key forwards win many Mascot medals, but I'll tell you what, I'd reckon he'd be on a few votes early on in the season.
Well, he is leading our pit stop menswear MVP award after 3 games. Well, he's played 3 games, hasn't he? So he's on the 7 votes. But they tell me one of the best games of country football they have seen someone play. Took, upwards of kind of 17, 18 marks for the game, and kicked truly, and was just in scintillating form.
Yeah, he's in great form, and Jaden Watson was on the screen there as well. And I'll tell you what, he's that really great utility the Saints have got, where they can play him forward or back, or even in the midfield as well, coming in for a goal. Obviously from the Kangaroos, he's been over for about 6 or 7 seasons now, and
looks
a great young
fit,
kid.
doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's had his injury concerns as well, so a fully fit Jaden Watson is certainly going to really benefit the Saints.
We're out for Terang Mortlake, Hilly. I know I spoke to Chris O'Connor during the week up at Terang Trials on Monday morning, and he said off the field the club is absolutely flying. Meals, you can't get into the joint on Thursday nights, which is just fantastic. And hopefully we start seeing it on the football field, mate.
Yeah, I guess a lot of experience has sort of gone over the last couple of seasons. Stevie Staunton, Couch, these sort of types have gone. Tom McKenzie's gone to Calora Nurat. So they've lost some experience, and I guess they're just blooding those youngsters coming through now. So it may be a hard year results-wise, but hopefully development-wise it's going to be a year that's going to really benefit the Bloods.
Well, let's have a look at our final game before we get to the match of the round. It was Warrnambool and Hamilton for the very first time. Hilly out at the pond, and that is Deakin University. Royal Deakin, as we like to call it. Looks magnificent, the surface there. Just wait till the middle of winter. Take a picture of that. But Jason Rowan, wasn't it good to see him back amongst the goal kickers, Hilly?
Oh, fantastic. And we love Rowe. We love him on Hampton League Live, and what a great player to have back. And he's a couple of years older from when he last played Hampton League football, but from the weekend it sounded like he didn't miss a beat. 6 goals were a really good focal point, and I reckon Ben Parkinson would have been happy with the delivery first and foremost, but the way that he was able to convert for the Blues as well.
Yeah, and they've got some good young kids, Warrnambool. Young Steer there we saw, he's a ripper. The Turlins, of course. Here's Rowan, just going back to kick another goal. He ended up with 4 or 5 last Saturday. Ran around. He's a beautiful finisher, Jace Rowan, and looks really fit himself, to be honest. I reckon he's had a big pre-season.
Yeah, absolutely. He looked even fit against South Warrnambool when we did that game a couple of weeks ago, and still mobile around. Obviously, it wasn't a day for forwards that day, but look at that, just class. With the drop punt, he can manoeuvre a goal any which way, Jason Rowan, and a really exciting player to have back in the comp. And it's good to see him back, and hopefully he pushes that goal-kicking record set by Tony Russell many seasons ago.
It'd be a fantastic achievement, that is for sure. What about the match of the day? Of course, we travelled over to the Gardens Oval in Port Fairy. The Seagulls took on the Portland Tigers, and I'll tell you what, I was impressed by both teams. A lot of young talent, athletic, running ability. It was a free-flowing game, Hilly, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I loved it. It was one of the best games we've called for some time, and some really good youngsters getting around. The Portland Tigers, we don't see enough of them, but they had some really great youngsters running around. Toby Jennings, the brother of Harris Jennings, really impressed. Ben Malcolm, he's been around for a long time now, and he's, I think the season off last year really helped with his body. Daniel Jackson, the captain, was sensational for the Tigers, but they had some good kids. Tex Mitchell up forward, Josh Dunlop also up forward, Edwards down back. Really terrific contributors, and as I said, Toby Jennings was really an exciting player, an 18-year-old that was just a really hard-working inside mid.
Yeah, no, plenty to like, that is for sure. Here's Aaron Shepard, who just presented all day. Another young kid that just kept getting himself into the right position. Dunlop was another. There's Andy Mcneil. That was a cracking goal on his preferred side there on the left. It's good to see him running around in the Port Fairy Seagulls colours, of course, back-to-back J.A. Eason medals for Andy Mcneil. And
a younger and smaller forward line too for the Seagulls. They didn't have a lot of height, but I'll tell you what, Jimmy Collin, as we would have seen in games gone past, that front and centre small forward, he was going for the high-flying marks and having a crack at everything. So,
what about this kid, mate? Young Weary Dunlop. I loved his game. He just led up and presented all day, didn't he?
Yeah, Josh Dunlop and Oscar Pollock, the son of the great Michael Pollock, who was a coach at both at South Warrnambool and Warrnambool. Only 15, terrific skills and an exciting player of the future. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no, it was a great goal right on half-time. And the Seagulls needed that, and they kind of kept them in the game. We go to the third quarter. This is Jimmy Conlon, a flying mark, and a beautiful finish. This is a young lad from Port Fairy, and you can see the boy's not happy with the attention. Shane Savage there in that 50-metre penalty. And a little bit going on. There was no love lost between the two close rivals in Port Fairy and Portland Hilly.
No, there wasn't. And I'll tell you what, it was a really mature decision for Colin just to go straight down the goal and go and convert. Kyle Richardson was another youngster that kicked 3 goals. He's kicked 5 for the season for the Tigers and a bit of a focal point up forward. Played a terrific game. It was amongst our votes. He was a key contributor.
Here's young Toby Jennings, who we spoke about. Just young kid on the rise, of course, brother Harris Jennings, who's playing in the GFL now. We saw he had a great interleague campaign a couple of years ago, and this is another young kid. There's an injury too to a young Gleeson.
Hamish Gleeson.
You know, for the Port Fairy Seagulls. Hopefully all right. I haven't heard too much actually in regards to that. Nice little goal there by Tommy Sharp. At a time when the Portland Tigers needed a bit of a lift.
Yeah, they did, because the Seagulls were coming. They just had a bit of momentum, but then one Sharp kicked that goal, followed by another goal with Toby Jennings, and as he duly celebrated, they sort of got a couple of goals ahead at three-quarter time.
Have a look at this fly. The young kid against 3, Jimmy Conlon, he took him on too, crashed the pack. He's only small in stature, but I'll tell you what, that was sensational stuff. Let's go to the fourth quarter action here. James Imby kicks us off here with a beautiful long goal. And, well, we kind of thought, hang on, she's game on here, Hilly, in the final term.
Yeah, well, it was a great starter for the Port Fairy Seagulls. He was able to convert really well. Good, some great shepherding there, work there by Jakey Bartlett. And he had a great game as well. He had a big game against Ben Malcolm, and then obviously some of their other tools they had to contend with. There we go, Colin in there once again. Isaac Martin was absolutely terrific. And I like this player, Josh Edwards. Did some really nice things down back. And it was a bit of a rock of Gibraltar for them, I thought, at times.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. You hit the nail on the head. Tommy Sharp kicks another one here at a very important and crucial time. And, well, it was kind of all over at that point in time. Port Fairy had thrown everything at the Portland Tigers. And that was all they could give. And the Tigers are good enough to get the job done, mate, and get the 4 points, their first win in season 2021.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it leads into a really big game of Anzac Day football on Sunday at Hanlon Park against the arch rivals and the Hamilton Kangaroos. So they'll be beaming with confidence going in against the Kangaroos coming off a loss.
Now, Pit Stop Player of the Year voting, our 3 votes went to young Toby Jennings from the Portland Tigers. We have mentioned him already on the show tonight, but he was brilliant. 4-quarter performance. He was the engine room. Good young kid. He reads the play very, very well. He's good with his hands. He's a one-touch player. Certainly a kid to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just liked his composure. It just seems like at times he had a lot more time than what he actually did, but that just come to some great composure. And yeah, skill level, sensational. So I'd be really excited for the Tigers with what Toby Jennings can bring to the table week in, week out.
And of course, son of a gun, his father Mick Jennings was a wonderful player in the Western Border Football Netball League for a long, long time. He is a legend over the Portland Football Club, and he'd be rapt seeing the kids coming through. And I think there's a younger sister that goes right at netball as well too. Yep. So certainly a very, very talented family, that is for sure. Well, what about the Lucas brothers snag of the day, Hilly? There was plenty to choose from. Actually, there was highlights all over, but this one from Andy Mcneil was sensational.
Yeah, it was. And it was at a time where it was pretty important as well for the Seagulls, just to sort of not get too far away on the scoreboard from the Portland Tigers, and 2 steps, a left foot snap and a beautiful goal. So we thought that was certainly worthy of our Lucas Brothers Butcher snag of the day. It was terrific.
And our Southwest Tool of the Week, we need a drum roll for this. Poor old Benny Howard, he's still copying it, I think, from the Waterville boys with a jerry can last week. Timmy McIntyre, of course, round number 1, he got a little bit lost and ended up at the neighbour's house out in Koroit. And we've got an honourable mention again this week. Corey Gallichan kicks a goal here, and I'll tell you what, it looks like a goal there. He went the early celebration, did Corey, and I thought, I must admit, he was pretty stiff. But our Southwest Tool of the Week this week, he's a young kid. He's only played a handful of games in the seniors at North Warrnambool. His name is Neddy Timms. Timsy, good young kid. He's on the Greater Western Victorian Rebels list. Okay, there's his grandfather, Kenny Timms, played at Essendon. He was a talent and a superstar, and just a ripping fella is Kenny. But little Neddy actually works for me at Town and Country at the pizza shop, and he's a ripping kid. He does the pastas and that a couple of nights a week for us. Brilliant kid. Anyway, the boys, J-Mac and the boys, sent him on a little errand a couple of weeks ago to do the washing, the tea towels. And, I just said, go and do the washing for me. Chuck these in for us, Neddy, and we'll pick them up later on. When the boys went and picked them up a little bit later on, Neddy had chucked them straight in the dryer with the detergent. And poor old Dallas Uderman and his little laundromat down there was spinning around. So I don't think Ned has done much washing throughout his career. And he gets our Southwest Tool of the Week.
Did he go with the dryer? He didn't muck around with the dryer, did he?
Honestly, I hope everything's okay. I probably shouldn't have said to Dallas. He's probably had a couple of dryers by up. But you imagine how dirty the tea towels were, mate. He's just chucked them straight in the dryer and spun them around for 45 minutes and put the washing powder in with them. So, Timsy, you thought you got away with it, mate, but you haven't. And $50 voucher coming your way, all thanks to Paddy Lane and the team at Southwest Tools, the Tool of the Week. Keep them coming in too. If you've got something that you like, make sure you send it to us. And we like having a bit of fun with it, that is for sure. Hey, Hilly, we're going to go to our first guest tonight. We've got plenty to get through as well, plenty of guests. And the women's football kicked off. We're going to come back to the women's football. We're going to go to Benny Parkinson, the coach of the Warrnambool Blues. It is our Hammond League Live match of the day this weekend out at Bushfield. North Warrnambool taking on the Warrnambool Football Club. Benny Parkinson's only been at the helm for about 3 weeks, and he's been kind enough to join us via Zoom tonight. Parky, thanks very much for your time, buddy.
No worries, Stewie. G'day, Hilly.
Mate, listen, how's it been? 3 weeks in the job. You've coached senior football before. You've been assistant coach. You know what's going on. It would have been good just to get the monkey off the back with a victory last week.
Yeah, overwhelming feeling of relief Saturday when the Siren went with 1-1. It was really good. The 3 weeks had been busy. The first week was pretty flat out. Obviously, I knew before all you guys and the wider community knew. But there was an Easter weekend, so everyone was away and we didn't see the players for a while. So we had to sort of keep it to myself. Only told probably family really over that weekend, and then when it all came out on the Tuesday, everything since then has been pretty good.
And I guess, Parky, too, it's probably a good thing that it was a really seamless transition, because obviously you'd been assistant with Matt O'Brien for the last couple of seasons. So, you guys know your game style, the capabilities of the players. It's just, I guess, you're taking a little bit more of the responsibility, and Matt's probably, just reverse roles, really, is it, in the end?
Yeah, it's pretty much straight swap, Hilly. So Matt gave me a fair bit of say in what we did and how we went about it. It wasn't... It's just the boys will hear me a little bit more than what they hear Matt now. So Matt's still there on game day and trainings and stuff like that. So it's not a hell of a lot of difference.
Mate, we called you guys. First game of the year, of course, taking on South up at the Friendlies. It was shocking conditions. And I just thought you had your chances that day. You levelled it up halfway through the third quarter. They got 2 or 3 late goals with the wind, but you guys just couldn't capitalise kicking with the breeze that day. We a little bit disappointed because they had a few out. They were kind of cherry ripe for the picking, weren't they?
I don't know if they were cherry ripe, but probably the Anzac Day game probably gives them a sharpen up, I think. So, it's probably our practice matches. We played a couple of the better district league sides, and they're good sides, but it was sort of comfortable for us. And stepping up a level against South, who had played, they'd played Colac, and then they played Crew the week before, so they were probably a little bit sharper than us in terms of the speed of the game and all that sort of thing. But they were just better than us. We made a few mistakes, and obviously on Saturday we tidied up a little bit in some areas.
Hey, Parky, what I loved about the Blues round one, and obviously, the fruits would have come even better in round two, was just a few of the young kids you've given opportunity to start the season. Joel Reinheimer looks like he's a really likely player. Big Ben Howard. Aidan Grant, who unfortunately was injured in that first game. Sam Morgan. So great to see some kids coming through and getting a chance. And I guess, learning off the likes of your Jed Turland, your Darcy Grahams, Jason Rowans and Dan Weymouth and the like.
Yeah, it is, Hilly. So we had Liam Bidmade last Saturday as well. So those guys have done all the pre-season with the seniors. So they've been training for a long time with the senior group. The under-18s didn't sort of branch out on their own until a month before the season started. So all the summer those boys have been in our group. So they've earned their spots, and they're doing a good job. So they'll hold their positions for now anyway. So.
Mate,
Good.
One player I've really been impressed with over the last couple of seasons, I know he didn't play footy last year, but Mitch Bidmate, he's just fantastic. He's like a raging bull, isn't he? He's so strong, and he just, that first kind of 2 or 3 quarters, I thought against South, he was your best player. I know he faded out of the game a little bit, but he's come on in leaps and bounds, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He came third in our best and fairest in 2019 as a 18, 19-year-old. So he's part of the Rebels program there for a while. He's got a job as an apprentice builder now, so he's really settled in the town. But yeah, we really rate him up at the Blues. We probably think he's one of our better players, and his start of the season has been excellent.
Hey, Parky, Sam Cowling was at centre-half back on Saturday against the South Warrnambool Roosters. Is that a position he's going to play for most of the year? You'd love 2 of him. He can play centre-half forward really, really well, but his game against the Roosters, and it seems like even Hamilton, he was really strong in that position as well.
Yeah, that's the plan going forward, Hilly. He'll play centre-half back for us. So, he's good against South, but he was even better against Hamilton. So he took a lot of intercept marks on the weekend. So, we plan to leave him there.
Pretty important game this weekend, Parky, taking on the North Warrnambool Eagles. They're coming off a loss to South. They're going to be keen to get back on the winners list out on their home deck. It's going to be a ripper. Yeah,
it should be a good game. I think there's sort of, I think Adam's article in the paper today probably summed it up pretty well. Croydon South look like they've started the year pretty well, pretty strong list. And then it's probably a big bunch after them two. So I'd imagine it'll be a pretty tight contest. Obviously, they want to get back on the winners list, and we don't want to drop another one as well. So with the bye 2 weeks away, you'd like to be in a pretty strong position after the 4 games.
Beautifully done, mate. How's young Benny Howard after running out of fuel there the other day? He copped a bit of stick off the boys, did he, Parky?
Yeah, he certainly did last Thursday night. He was pretty embarrassed. He said when he seen you pull up, he just thought, "Oh no, I'm done here." So he thought you were taking a video of him, not just selling him to stand still for a photo. So he's glad there wasn't a video of it.
He's a good kid, great young kid, and he's got a bright future too. And he had a crack that first game. So I'm looking forward to seeing him again this weekend. Parky, thanks for your time, mate. We appreciate it. Looking forward to the contest this weekend, our Hammond League Live match of the day.
No worries. Thanks, boys.
Good stuff. Benny Parkinson there, the coach of the Warrnambool Football Club. And we're going to continue with our special guest tonight. And all the way down from Cobden, the great man Adam Irish Courtney. They're winless so far in season 2021, but not far away off the pace, that is for sure. And, he's even milking the cows a little bit later tonight, Hilly, for this show. Irish, are you there, big fella? we might just have a few little audio issues there with Irish. We'll get that sorted out, but I'm looking forward to having a chat to him. He's doing great things down in Cobden. They're really playing a good brand of football. You talk to people, Hilly, and they're saying that the way they're going about things is really sensational. So I'm excited for what the Cobden Bombers bring to the table this year.
Yeah, I can't wait to. I can't actually wait to see a Cobden Bombers game and just get an understanding of some of these new recruits that they've brought in, some of the youngsters that they're really trying to push to play senior footy, and some of these players that are in that 60, 70, 80 game mould that are going to be the ones that they're going to be relying on a little bit this year for those successes.
Yeah, good stuff. We might try Irish once again and see if we've got the audio down at Bomberland. Are you there this time, Irish?
Yes.
I think we can hear you, mate. Hey, listen, yeah, we've got you, buddy. Beautiful. Winless so far, but we're just saying, we like what you kind of bring to the table, mate. Narrowly went down to the Eagles in round one and put up a really good performance under lights against Camperdown on the weekend.
Yeah. Well, but
we might just be having some audio issues. It might be an internet issue down at Cobden. We might have to leave
Might
that
be still
one.
on the 3G rather than the 4G, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, come on, they're ahead of the game there. They're at Cobden. We might have to just work that out for possibly next week's show, I think, by the sounds of it, just hearing down the line there, Hilly. So, Irish, we appreciate you coming on, mate. We'll get you on next week. We'll get the internet sorted and make sure we are ready to go. But as I said, really impressed with what they're doing. They've kind of got a bit of experience back in Ricky O'Sullivan. Coronis is in good form and got a good match of young kids coming through, which I think is exciting.
And I think well coached as well. Irish has put a lot of effort into his coaching. He went down, he coached Simpson to a couple of flags in the Colac District League. Then he's had some assistant coaching roles at the Colac Tigers, and then obviously wanted to go back into that head coaching role and got the opportunity at the Cobden Bombers. So he's really invested a little bit into his coaching as well, and I think that's going to be really benefit these kids coming through. And I think the Cobden Bombers, we don't know a great deal about them, obviously because we sort of, they keep their recruits pretty low key. We know Ricky Sullivan, but a lot of the other players that have come in are probably a little bit unknowns. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. And from all reports, they've got some really good finds already. Tyler Mcneil, who's a youngster, Mark Marriott, who's a big ruckman that they've signed, who I think's had TAC Cup experience. So they're a bit of the unknown, but looking forward to what they bring over the next couple of weeks. And they'll be really, really hungry this week to try and get that first win.
Well, they haven't had an easy draw either. They played North Warrnambool, of course, in round number one. Then they had to travel to Camperdown and play under lights for the very first time and take on the might of the Magpies. And they're going to come up against Koroit this week. It is at home, though, and promises to be a cracking game. Let's go to the Zoom now. I think we've got Alicia Drew. The women's football kicked off on in earnest. Of course, last weekend, which is fantastic to see. Numbers continuing to grow. And Alicia Drew from AFL Western District has been kind enough to join us. Leash, how you going, buddy? That might be the same thing. We've just got the no audio there, Leash.
No one wants to speak to us tonight, Matt.
They've got us on the mute, Hilly. What's going on? we can't take a treat. Parking was booming in nice and loud and clear. Right. But I think it might be something from Alicia's end. I can hear a bit of noise in the background now. I think
sorry, Charlotte, it's amateur hour down here at the Lura.
You're down in Camperdown tonight, Leash, aren't you?
We're at the Lura here tonight, guys. Just coming live from Auskick at the Lura Oval.
Oh, how good is that? And they tell me there's a pretty special Auskick coach down there too, mate.
Sorry?
There's a pretty special Auskick coach down there too, taking over the helm.
The big Fraser Lucas, he's just, there he is, the man himself. So you're just having a chat to Spook and the boys are all say hi. Everyone's giving you the thumbs up. About 75 of them. About 75 of them running around tonight, so it's like herding cats down here.
That's awesome. That is great to see. So that is part of your role.
Sorry about the delay. I got completely sidetracked. Apologies.
No stress at all. And well, the big thing too, Leash, was the return of the women's football and a really successful round one of action.
We had a great first round actually. With I was telling you this morning, we had a couple of big hauls on the weekend as well. We had a Meg Schultz from the Portland Football Netball Club, the Tigers down there kicking a lazy 8 of the 15 goals scored by Portland on on Sunday. So Meg's had a day out. She's a very handy footballer. I reckon she's won a league best and a league goal kicker in the Mount Gambier comp as well, which a few of the girls transfer backwards and forwards to. So a few blowouts and a few close games as well. But report around the wings is that the girls have all had an absolute ripper.
Hey, Alicia, I want to ask you, how much influence has the AFLW competition on, I guess, really promoting the local women's football league and seeing growth over the last couple of years? Because it's getting bigger, the AFLW competition. Are we seeing the fruits of it down in our local region as well?
Yeah, I think so. The girls are starting to get a bit more around. Like, they know all the players and stuff now, obviously, and it helps having a bit of local talent around with Renee Solitis at St Kilda and the Caris girls from Horsham playing at Melbourne and Geelong, plus Georgia Clark. So we've got a few names getting into the comp from down the local area now, which makes a huge difference. But yeah, the girls, they do get right into it. And yeah, a few of them were sitting down, as was myself, watching the big granny on Saturday as well. So no, it's having a massive impact. The girls have got to see what they want to become, if that makes sense. So to have it on TV, that's the girls gives them something to aim for sure.
Well, what I love about it, though, it's just opportunity now, isn't it? You know, like football, cricket, the girls have got so much, you know, if they want to get involved, and they should get involved, you know, the world's their oyster, if you know what I mean. It's just wonderful. The pathways now to get there are sensational. And I know the numbers, Alicia, are absolutely magnificent and continuing to grow. And, you know, and clubs are wanting to get involved, which I think is just awesome as well. So it's certainly a massive growth area in regards to AFL footy.
Yeah, it's huge. I think at the moment about 340 females registered at the moment for the women's comp. We're expecting that to we'd like to get it over probably 350. 350 plus would be a great result if someone's yelling at the kids. Then yeah, we're really lucky in Warrnambool as well. Like, all the major sporting codes are open for women now. Like, we've always got football, basketball, netball, cricket now as well, rugby, hockey, soccer. Like, it's all. So if you're a female down in this region, you're the world's your oyster, that's for sure.
And it's been great to see a lot of Hampton League clubs really embrace and wanting to get that female team on the park as well, Drewy. And hopefully we see a few more over the next couple of years as well. And we see nearly, you know, like a Hampton competition, I guess, where we'll have all the Hampton League clubs have an affiliate female side.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Like, that'd be the dream. There's actually, we counted about 10 girls running around at Auskick tonight down here at Camperdown at the moment. So there might be a bit of movement down here at Camperdown the next few years as well. Just quietly, we're just putting the word on speak at the moment. So they're running around at Auskick, which is great to see.
Good on you, Leash. We appreciate your time doing wonderful things, not only with Auskick and junior football, but also with the women's competition as well. The team out at AFL
Thank
Western
you so
District
much.
doing a great job. Maddie Ross and
the team thanks very much.
Mate. So good on you.
Thanks very much for your time, boys. I really appreciate any chance.
Great stuff, and we must apologise to Irish Courtney too, Hilly. He deferred milking tonight for this as well. He was hanging on. He was pumped. He was excited. Irish, we will get you on next week, mate. We just need to get those little pods and the internet sorted out there on the farm. You'd have a big farm, I reckon, Irish too.
Oh, yeah. I reckon he'd be doing a bit Irish. I reckon he'd be pretty busy day to day.
Plenty of milking going on down there. He's a good fella, that is for sure. Hey, let's have a look, Hilly, at this weekend's round of matches. Going to be an absolute beauty. We've got 2 weeks, then we've got a bye, of course, after the May races. Southport will take on the Camperdown Magpies. This will be a good game. Good test for the Magpies to see where they're at.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, they've had some really good games in the first 2 weeks. A couple of really good wins. Sam Gordon, a great recruit who showed some great signs last week with 7 goals. So he'll be a bit of an interest play, I reckon, for the Roosters. But the Roosters structurally up really nicely, starting to get a full complement of players. And they're always hard to beat up at the Friendly Societies Park. So hopefully it's a really competitive game, but I reckon the Roosters will probably go into favourites in this one.
And Cobden taking on Koroit. We've already discussed this one. It's going to be a good test, a big test for the Cobden Bombers. The Saints, they are in scintillating form and still with some good players out. The little birdie tells me maybe a couple of debutantes out at St. Land making their debut, a couple of young kids this weekend, which will be very, very exciting.
Oh, it's exciting. I think we had 4 debutants or 3 debutants and a young player that didn't play much in the first Good Friday game. So they're not afraid to chuck him in, which is fantastic. And we've seen the O'Sullivan boys play some senior footy over the first couple of weeks as well. So great with Chris McLaren. They've got a great development program out there. And anyone they throw in that's a first gamer, they'll be ready-made. There's no doubt about it. So big test for the Bombers. Look forward to see how they go.
What about this one? Terrell Mortlake taking on Port Fairy. Both teams winless so far. This is going to be a ripper. As I said at the top, they reckon it's flying down at Terang Mortlake off the field. You can't get any more in there on a Thursday night for meals and stuff, which is just sensational to see. And I know Port Fairy are absolutely delighted with the job that Winners Imby's doing. They've still got Matty Sully to come back in, Sandy Robertson, a few big boys. It's going to be a great game. This one will go down to the wire, I reckon, Hilly.
Absolutely. I think both sides will be just champing at the bit to try and get those first 4 points. I think Port Fairy probably go in as favourites. Their form's probably been a fraction bit better than the Terang Mortlake Bloods. But in saying that, always hard to beat Terang Mortlake down at Ridley Recreation Reserve. So I don't think it'll be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. It'd be interesting to see who wins this one to get their first 4 points of the season.
Yeah, and what about the big Anzac Day Clash, of course, on Sunday? Portland taking on the Hamilton Kangaroos. I like what I saw with Portland last week. If it's a dry day, which the weather forecast looks like it's going to be, I think, I just was really impressed with a couple of young kids up forward that really presented well. And I think this is going to be a cracking game of footy as well.
Could almost be nearly their match of the weekend, I reckon, with these two sides. They don't like one another, obviously, from their Western Border days. So, Hamilton want to beat Portland. Portland want to beat Hamilton. Impressed with the Tigers last week. They were absolutely terrific. Whilst the Hamilton Kangaroos, they went down to a very good Warrnambool, but they've started the season with 1-1. Got some good players in there. They'll be desperate to get that 2-1 record after round 3. And this could go down to the wire, I reckon.
Yeah, it's going to be a cracker on Anzac Day. Junior footy and netball, of course, too, on Anzac Day. There is different starting times, so just check with your football club what they will be. And this is our match of the day, the Hamburn League Live, the live streaming game. It is North Warrnambool taking on the Warrnambool Blues out at the Bushfield Recreation Reserve. Adam Dowie will be keen to bounce back with a win against his old foe, a team that he coached and led to a premiership in the Warrnambool Football Club. Benny Parkinson will be looking to upset the party. Jason Rowan back into the competition. Looking forward to this. I don't think Tyrone Vickery's playing this weekend, Hilly. He is going to commit, though, talking to Wigsy Dowie today. I think he's going to play most part of the year and certainly finals if they get there, the North Warrnambool Eagles, which is great news.
Oh, that's great news for the North Warrnambool Eagles. But, this will be an interesting game, this one. North are always hard to beat at Bushfield. They play a really specific brand of football there, especially with, Adam taking over the reins as well. They've changed it up how they've done it previously. But the Blues, they'll be up and about after a good win over the Hamilton Kangaroos. Got a really good forward line, Cowling down back. So they back their key position players, a very sound midfield as well. And I think that the matchups are going to be the real entertaining thing over the course of the weekend. In the ruck, down forward, down back. Whoever uses the ball the best, I think will get the job done.
Beautifully done, as always, Hilly. Well, that wraps us up tonight for our Hamden League online footy show. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage. We must thank once again all our sponsors. We absolutely love what they do for the Hamden Football Netball League. And don't forget our match of the day. You can tune in from midday, jump on the 3YBFM Facebook page, and you can watch the live stream. And I must thank the team at Fitz Media, Harrison, Fitzy, all the crew here. They do a wonderful job, and it is taking the Hamden Football Netball League to a new level, that is for sure. And we appreciate the support, and we appreciate the feedback. It's been enormous, which is great to see. We'll see you at the footy and netball this weekend.